Good afternoon. We're glad you're with us on this Monday. I'm Karen Fuller. Now at noon, we're learning about breaking developments in the search for an escaped murder suspect. Plus, the Justice Department and former President Trump's legal team are at odds over who should be named as the special master to examine the FBI's search of Trump's Florida home. The latest in this legal battle. And in 8 minutes, results of a new survey suggest that the mental health of young people can suffer when heading back to school. See why it's a conversation parents should be having with their child daily. And later, the people of Scotland are saying a final farewell to their queen, and Prince William and his brother Harry mourn their grandmother. And now, a breaking story just into the THV 11 newsroom. Authorities have caught up with Wanya Smith after his escape Sunday from the Saline County Detention Center. THV 11's Ashley Godwin joins us live with more details. Ashley.
Hey, Karen, that's right. Smith is in custody now after being on the run for more than 24 hours. He was initially here at the Saline County Detention Center being held for a murder charge in Nebraska. Now, police tell us he was being detained here in Saline County when he climbed the barbed wire fence and was able to get away. This chase led to multiple agencies trying to find him, including the U.S. Marshal Service, and they even told us he left the area. And as of his arrest, we don't know where he was captured or where he's being held now, but we are working to get those answers, and we will have more information for you tonight at 5 and 6. For now, live in Saline County, I'm Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
All right, Ashley, we appreciate that update. And developing in Little Rock now, authorities tell us a 15-year-old arrested in North Little Rock is possibly connected to the deaths of 2 people. Police say officers answering a call to a home south of Louisiana Street just after 9:30 Saturday night arrived to find Lawrence and Deborah Wright dead inside. North Little Rock officers alerted to the case, then arrested the 15-year-old. We now know this afternoon that the teen will be charged as an adult on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Turning to your weather, meteorologist Nathan Scott is tracking your forecast. Nathan?
Good afternoon, Karen. We had a little taste of fall in the air this morning with clear skies in place. The winds went light to calm and the temperatures tumbled down into the 50s for most spots, but even some upper 40s. A little bit on the chilly side. You might need a light jacket this morning in Clinton, in Fayetteville, also in Mena, where the temperature dipped down to 47 degrees. But with that September sunshine and all that blue sky, we have rebounded very nicely. We're into the mid to upper 70s across the region. 80 in De Queen, 79 in the capital city, and 77 in Stuttgart. You step outside, it is feeling good out there. The reason for that is because the dew points are into the 40s and 50s. And the last time we saw dew points that low was back in May. A little bit of a breeze kicking in from the north-northwest, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So highs today will warm up into the low to mid 80s. However, 90-degree temperatures are in my extended forecast, and I'll have more on that coming up.
Thank you, Nathan. We'll see you soon. Former President Trump's legal team has submitted its response to the Justice Department's attempt to halt a federal judge's order. Trump's attorneys say they want the federal judge to continue preventing the Justice Department from reviewing the records seized last month from Trump's Florida home. Skylar Henry has details from Washington.
Former President Donald Trump arrived in the Washington area Sunday evening, ostensibly to play golf. Meanwhile, his lawyers hammered out a response to the Department of Justice's request that the judge stay the part of her ruling preventing the government from reviewing documents taken during the search. Trump's team filed the response this morning, saying in what at its core is a document storage dispute that spiraled out of control. The government wrongfully seeks to criminalize the possession by the 45th president of his own presidential and personal records. In a court filing last week, the DOJ asked Judge Eileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, to restore their access to classified material seized in the search at Trump's Mar-a-Lago home last month. They argue that denying access to the material could stop them from finding any additional classified material being improperly stored, which they argue could put national security at risk.
If some of these documents involved human intelligence and that information got out, people will die. If there were penetration of
We
our
don't know that yet.
signals intelligence. Literally years of work could be destroyed.
The Trump team responded to that request, saying there is no indication any classified records were disclosed to anyone, reiterating they were stored in a locked room at Mar-a-Lago. The DOJ argues that even if the judge proceeds with the appointment of a special master, that he or she should have a more narrow scope of work than what the judge had initially ordered. In the court filing, the DOJ said the special master should not review documents with classification markings and should not adjudicate claims of executive privilege.
There's only one executive who can assert the privilege, and that's the one who's the current executive, Joe Biden.
So far, neither the DOJ nor former President Trump's lawyers have agreed on who should be named the special master if the federal judge proceeds with appointing one, with both sides submitting a separate list of names they find acceptable to fill the role. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Sunday marked 21 years since the September 11th attacks, when hijacked planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania. This year, many Americans gathered at the scenes of those tragedies. Nearly 3,000 people were killed in the attacks that day. Vice President Kamala Harris represented the White House in New York. First Lady Jill Biden took part in the remembrance at the memorial near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and President Biden spoke at the Pentagon.
We raise monuments and memorials to the citizens whose blood sacrificed on these grounds and in Shanksville and Ground Zero, to keep touch of the memory, keep it bright for all the decades to come.
And in each one of those ceremonies came the renewed promise to never forget. Hundreds of first responders here in Arkansas climbed 110 flights of stairs to honor the journeys of the rescue teams in the aftermath of 9/11. This was the 4th annual stair climb at UALR. And while the climb does honor the legacy of the 9/11 first responders, it helps current firefighters as well. That's because donations support the Arkansas Firefighter Cancer Relief Network, or CRUMP law, helping firefighters that have cancer and participate in that network.
If you're 21 or younger, you have no recollection of a pre-9/11 world like the rest of us do. And you were raised in this environment of extra securities and all that stuff. And it's important that we spread the memory and never forget the sacrifice that was given on that day by thousands of people, not just first responders, but thousands of people. That allow us to have the freedoms and the liberties that we do today.
Captain Hagar tells us organizers are already planning next year's stair climb, all in an effort to keep that promise to never forget. The first months of a new academic year can mean stressful adjustments to the new schedule for both parents and children. And now a recent survey reveals most parents believe their child will experience mental health challenges as they return to the classroom. Christian Benavides has more on how to help them.
Story time at the library.
Back to school has been difficult during the pandemic. Jalen Ziegler had remote kindergarten. Returning to the classroom for first grade was a big transition for her and others.
She experienced some bullying just because, like I said, some of those kids, it was their first time around other students. They kind of had been confined to their own homes the year before, and they just weren't used to that kind of interaction.
Now that second grade is here, her mom says she has additional concerns.
On top of the bullying is that their education isn't really up to speed, because it was a lot on us parents to teach them during those years. Some other concerns, like explaining to them certain emergencies in the pandemic.
A national survey shows 79% of parents believe their children will face challenges back to school this fall. The survey was conducted on behalf of the Children's Mental Health Movement On Our Sleeves.
The top 3 challenges the parents shared with us were safety concerns, bullying, and then just continued social difficulties because of the pandemic.
Dr. Ariana Hoyt says these concerns can affect a child's mental health, which can then make learning and socializing with peers more difficult. She recommends families have a daily check-in.
Even if you're not worried, it's just to build the habit and that relationship with your child. And we also have back-to-school conversation starters, so open-ended questions for parents to ask their children about how they're feeling and what they're excited about, what they're nervous about.
We work with her on explaining words for different emotions.
They also do activities like taking walks and reading to help decrease stress. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
After a big win Saturday, the Hogs are moving up in the AP rankings. We'll show you their new spot and take a look at this week's opponent next. Nathan?
Karen, I would say this type of weather that we're seeing out there is touchdown weather. We got lots of blue sky, beautiful conditions, but how long will it stick around? I'm going to give you a hint. This is false fall, ladies and gentlemen. I'll explain why coming up.